Welcome, faraway friends. You have found yourselves at the Port of Dark, specifically on our third episode of Daggerheart. So here we are. When last we left our heroes, we had just made the once quaint village of Hush. And it was a quick episode. This will be another quick one. So I encourage you, if it's been a hot minute and you haven't seen what happened before, go back and watch. But essentially, the Haven Quartet has made their way to this and unlocked this in their memories, this town in their memories and also in their magics. Okay, so you come in through the spiritual and magical, what should be the spiritual and magical barrier of Hush, the Pomerium. You do not feel any sort of tingle or air, or your ears popping for change in air pressure, anything like that, which is quite unusual.
So the psychic pressure that was in the forest around this is not within the town at all?
Sorry. The town is not defended by anything, but that, good call. The town isn't defended by anything special, but that pressure is still on
okay.
you. Yeah.
Got it.
And that's just the forest. That seems to be everywhere.
Gotcha.
In fact, the only place that you haven't felt it is Haven. And you don't know why. There might be some vestigial defense, or it might just be that Haven's too big right now, and the forest hasn't gotten its roots sunk well enough.
But we know that the disabled wood is still an impending fear.
Oh, you see it growing. I mean, so this was about 3 weeks now of growth, and it looks more like 4 months of growth in there. Also, looks like there is an intelligence to the growth, because it's not just kind of coming in willy-nilly, like you're seeing a line of saplings beginning to march like soldiers to cut the town in half, and then there are already thick brambles that have grown up around those saplings to protect them and impede people. You, Marlowe, had seen a group of disheveled, battered-looking elves in their former finery, probably from Ice's End, to judge by the colors and the material. And if you remember, they had their little lean-tos and kind of temporary shelters erected from there. What do y'all want to do?
I'll go ahead and approach the elves
Okay.
that seem to be from the capital.
Okay. Do the rest of you follow her?
Yes.
Yeah, for a bit. And then probably we'll kind of check out what's going on there for a minute, and
Okay.
then maybe break off to find the town leadership.
Okay.
But we'll kind of stick together.
I know you mentioned the tavern. I'm keeping an eye on that because I know at least I've been there before.
There is the huge tavern, and that is to say there's the huge tree that's growing up, not quite in the center of the town, but I'm picturing it kind of southeast, a little bit off of center. It's, I believe, 6 stories tall.
And we're approaching the town from what direction?
You just came in, you'd been traveling east, so you just hit the western side of the town.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was pretty well due east that you went. There was a little bit of up and, back and forth and up and down, but essentially
It's late still. It's actually pretty late in the day at this point.
it's late now. Yeah.
Is it quite night?
No.
Okay.
No. Shadows are lengthening, and but it's going to be evening soon.
Okay.
The other thing I'll say is that even the tavern looks like people have begun to take up residence there. You see, people have their wash out. You see meals getting cooked out on patios, on levels 2 and 3, that sort of thing. And it doesn't look like they're entertaining themselves. It looks like they've taken up residence there. All right, so you approach this group. There are only about half a dozen of them that are up. There are at least thrice that number who look in various stages of injury and incapacitation. You, Marlowe, immediately notice sometimes on the wrist, sometimes necklace, sometimes even earrings in miniature, a whole slew of runes of recall that are part of the sacred pact that her wisdom has made with all of her children, which is that as long as she is your monarch and leader, that no elf who makes the pilgrimage up to Ice's End will come to harm. And so all of those, that with a word or with a touch, all of those can teleport them back to the capital, or
Should have been able to.
could have.
Yeah.
The fact that they look battered and disheveled now argues pretty strongly against that. All right.
The other word is shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda,
So
but
she
they
can touch them and they can beam me up, Scotty.
coulda.
Not now. Yeah, not now.
Probably would have used that by now.
What is y'all's? You have a pretty high instinct, I know, Marlo. So, I'm not gonna have you roll. You see past, and the rest of you eventually see this too, but you probably catch it first. That it looks like there's maybe a quarter mile further east past them. It looks like there are the remnants of a skyship that slammed into the ground.
Interesting.
Fairly sizable too. Fairly sizable. And now that you've broken through the tree line and you can see across the town, you can see where there's this whole great gouge in the forest and earth that it made.
Okay.
So you see almost like a trail of ants, more weary elven bodies going back and forth between where the skyship fell, where it crashed, and their little temporary encampment, which is much closer to the Clover Tavern.
Okay.
And it looks like they're wearily carrying various provender weapons. God, they're so advanced. You know what? I don't think that a skyship from the capital even would have had things like healing herbs, just simple bandages, because there's so much magic, and they should have had so many potions and elixirs that could have instantaneously healed them, even of broken bones, that they don't really carry any of the old ways of doing business anymore. So probably you see some of them struggling, foraging around, trying to find herbs.
Make a splint. What's a splint?
Does
Forgot
this
that word.
crash look like it happened probably around the time of the Reckoning or more recent? Based on growth or smoldering or forest growth?
You want to make a roll on that?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you feeling?
What would that be?
Instinct, knowledge,
That would probably
Whatever
be
else
a
you want.
knowledge roll, I guess.
Sounds like.
Or perceive. It's just, either one. I don't really have any great.
comprehend. Yeah, either one. Which other one?
Well, both instinct and knowledge for me are a 0 modifier, so I don't have any particular, but I'd be looking at that.
Okay, I'll say knowledge because I'm going to flavor it a certain way for her.
Okay. That is going to be 13 with hope.
With hope. All right, take a hope.
Put it out.
You're just collecting.
Racking up those
I
numbers.
know.
Over there.
Please
Nice.
do.
Nice little stack. Keep it
So
coming.
6. I think most of you already know this, but 6 hope is as much as you can.
Yes, I
bank.
gotta find a way to spend some here.
So yep, it's a good problem.
Yeah. We like that problem.
You're sitting there, and more of your memories come back, very, very specific, not like a flood, but you remember gauging, having an expert, you can't remember her name right now, telling you how to gauge vegetation in the Sablewood. And so you sit there and you're trying to basically kind of almost mathematically grind it out in your head and look at where you think the pomerium of the village was and I'll just settle on town because it's probably too big for a village, where the edge of the town was. And you think it's right about 3 weeks, to judge by the encroaching. The only thing is it's confounded by the fact that the Sablewood seems to have a sort of malevolent intelligence to it. So you don't necessarily trust that it's going to grow as quote unquote natural
Yeah, that was
vegetation
then.
would. Yeah.
Do the same rules still apply?
That you're not sure on, but with that caveat.
Okay.
Okay. As you start approaching them, the four of you are a little bit tired, but you're clean. You look strong, well fed. One of the women breaks off, and you see she has hair very similar to yours, Marlo.
Oh, really?
Indeed. Sure, I get. Ave, Magus?
Yes, Magus, Marlowe, Fairwind, Ave.
Fairwind. Oh, from Haven, then.
That's right. And your name?
Manara. Manara.
Good to meet you, Manara.
You're not. You came from Haven.
Just today. This is the first attempt, I believe, that has been made for us to travel from Haven to Hush.
She's a good deal darker than you, somewhat shorter than you, and her face seems to have, well, you would guess she's somewhere around your age, from the fact that she's speaking with you lucidly still. She's certainly not going to be older than you, but she looks like she's aged decades in these last 3 weeks. She kind of glances around, doesn't bother hiding her suspicion as she kind of gives Varian side eye and then glances at the other two.
Seeing her look, I'll make sure to go ahead and just explain to her what's going on. We are here by request of our Lord. All of those who travel with me were chosen by him to come to Hush. So I know it's not the usual party you might expect us to be traveling with, but we are here for a specific purpose. But might I ask if you are in need of some immediate aid? Is anyone here gravely injured?
Your lord, Theodulf the Fair.
Yes.
I know that. How do I know that now? I haven't been able to. Seeing you. I can remember more about Haven. I've been there before. I think I might have even seen you at the court. You were a will worker there. I remembered that. I guessed at the Magus part because of when she touches her hair.
Right.
You had the gift too, then.
Yes.
She points, and you see fully half, Caitlin, of the 18 or so that are down and incapacitated also have white hair. She says, all of us with a gift, and those were a good chunk of our expedition. They were just annihilated. They know even less about themselves than I do. And whatever calamity, whatever catastrophe is swept through it, and those wretched images of the 6 gods, demons, I don't know what to call them.
Nor I. But do you have any recollection of why you're here in Hush?
Yes. I make a presence roll with advantage, because he said some key things to reassure her.
What's advantage?
Yeah, D6.
Plus 1d6.
Yeah. Okay, I was like,
That's fair, because in 1.2 it was, they
Oh,
went back
sweet.
and forth.
Okay, so that's 18 with hope.
With hope, okay, take a hope.
Are we still on 1.4 or did they evolve?
1.4 right now. Yeah. Although I kept one or two things from the first rollout because I liked it. Actually, no, sorry, it was 1.3 that had the kind of D&D-esque advantage. At any rate, she looks at you. May I? And she motions in a very like almost court body language sort of way. If she can have you aside for a moment. Okay.
I'll return in just a moment.
So as you do that, you see a bunch of eyeballs on you, and some people, some of the sick and injured, grab onto various little crude weapons, bereft of their gift. You know, none of these people look like physical specimens. Almost all of them are elves. You see one or two humans amongst what looks like a surviving crew of about 40, which means that this ship must have been huge, because you're sure most of them died. And I mean, you're looking at the Hulk and how bad that impact was. That got most of them. So you're talking about this might have been like a juggernaut before, or at least like a troop transport.
We will need to make some arrangements for this evening.
Yes, well, we will see to that.
And lad, I have a particular favor to ask of you. Just keep an eye on, well, I want to make sure that nobody's going to take advantage of us coming in.
Are you not already seen that that's what's happening? You literally got the memo back, seeing her.
I just want to make sure that no one's going to take our stuff.
What if they get their memory back? It takes all the energy away from you.
No.
What if you get weaker? The more people you touch, you lose your power, but they gain their memory.
I would happily lose everything I have going for me now for everyone else to gain back their abilities.
Well, we're here because you're the one leading us, so we really don't want you to lose you.
I'll be back in just a moment. I'll stay within your eye line. I'll just be right here.
Can I go look after her from a different point of view, please?
Let's wait a moment.
So Minara
Give her a chance.
Minara pulls you aside.
These people are just scared. More than likely.
I don't know what... I don't know what's right. I don't know if it's proper to say. I know before this happened, I couldn't have told you anything. But
Nara, everything has changed, so whatever formalities might hold you back, know that this is a different time now and we need to adjust. Please speak freely.
she's keeping her voice low, and it's funny, Caitlin, because you can hear her try to shift into High Elvish, and it fails. Which is like a semi-secret, basically like a double speak, where you could have one conversation, but because you're an Elven well worker, you can actually hear the subtext of it. Mm-hmm. But now it just falls totally flat. And she actually blushes in embarrassment as she fails at invoking that ability. Right. Well, we were monitoring and analyzing, and to an extent escorting an experimental vessel. It had I can't believe I'm saying this, but it might actually be germane. It was the first of its kind, a prototype. We, with her wisdom's blessing, our arcanist there created a skyship with its own moongate. And we were going along the ley lines of the continent, testing it. The initial tests had been very promising. In fact, so promising that it quickly outdistanced us, and even with sending stones and keeping in constant communication with it. Its name was the HWS Windfall. So her wisdom Skyforce. It was the Windfall, and she outpaced us. she made her last jump somewhere around here. Haven was actually going to be our next rally point. So I assume it was tougher than anything we've ever put into the skies, and I don't say that lightly. Aside from being a whale worker, I'm also an engineer. Or was. I don't know if any of that technology even exists anymore. But I didn't see it crash. Of course, we were all busy trying not to die ourselves, so it's entirely possible we missed something. But we have to find them. Their crew that we've managed to... forgive the horrendous pun, but the gallows humor, we've managed to land on our feet here in the village.
I'm glad for the safety of your party, at least.
What's left of it? There were 300 of us that set out. There were about 200 now.
I'm sorry. Who was aboard the lost ship?
A crack crew. An elementalist who could stoke the engines. There were several arcanists there as well. A bevy of engineers. Actually, believe it or not, their captain was or is human, but a remarkable man. Her wisdom wouldn't have granted him that position without, well, of course, her flawless judgment. And now I don't know what we're supposed to do. We're scratching out a living here, but is it even possible to get to Ice's End on foot? It's an unimaginably long trek. We'd never survive the Sablewood, not without our gifts.
That much I can't say. It doesn't seem very doable at the moment, but at the very least, your people could return with us to Haven.
Yes, please.
It was a fairly straightforward journey.
Haven yet stands?
Yes.
Sending stones? A pool of threads?
No.
Your moon gate?
Almost everyone is incapacitated, and most things aren't working the way they're supposed to, but there is at least some...
How far? How far did it reach?
No one knows.
This is almost the southern edge of our civilization, Marlowe. Were the Qatari affected? Was the Great Pride hit as well?
I believe so. But I don't know anything for sure at this point.
Are their feral gifts intact? Remember, it's about half.
Yeah.
About 50% of them got nuked.
Yeah.
About 98% of you guys got nuked.
Not quite as badly as us, but it seems most are affected in one way or another.
One of us, Oddbird, his name is Adrian, had no gifts really of any kind. He was a historian, really a last-minute addition to the crew.
I hear that.
Sorry, I'd let my voice get a bit loud. He's over. He kept going on about that supposedly there was some ancient creature here that was equivalent to her wisdom. Absurd, of course, but he kept going on. He said he had to find her, that he had visions of her this past week, and he just left. She says I can show you at least the direction that he went off to, but he's probably been eaten by now.
Ancient creature, I'm not sure if it's quite why we're here, but we are in search of someone who's, we're hoping might still have some semblance of the ability to work will, given all of these circumstances. Have you heard anything about the arcanist here?
There's something about, I forget her name, but yeah, supposedly there was someone of renown, but who in the world would come here to retire? This is nothing. This isn't even a neighborhood in Ice's End.
I have no idea what could bring someone to this place. But she's been here a long time. Hopefully back when she had all of her wisdom. So we're just hoping we could find some information about how to find her and see if she has any of her ability left.
H4, get back over here. There's a man, actually one of the few humans that was with this group. And you see an automaton that is wandering away from the crash site. And in fact, it sits down on a stump. Now, an important thing, the slang word for them are clanks.
Clanks.
And importantly, Lord Theodulf has forbidden clanks from being in Haven for your entire life. And in fact, probably for much longer than that. The law's been there in place, the edict has been there in place for so long that people don't even question it. So it could be a very long time, given how old he is. But this thing is ignoring, it has a bronze skin to it. It has a sturdy back and a built-in rack on its back, like a luggage rack.
That kind of rack. Okay.
Yes.
Just checking.
An actual rack, a serviceable
You never know
rack.
when you're
Yes.
gonna get a back
That's
rack.
true. That's true. That's true. Especially with the clank.
A back rack.
Touche. Are they underborns?
You don't know. Because you never. That's not true. There are some clanks in Hush, but they were considered like property of the wealthy and the influential, because they obviously, they can work tirelessly, they never complain, they never get sick, etc. And this man, long reddish hair, kind of thin, intense expression on his face, he goes stalking over to it. I said, come back. What has gotten into you? Do I have a soul? What? Do I have a soul? No, you're a... H4A7, get up. Stop this nonsense. I told you. This is a elven woman who looks like she has her arm broken. She's calling out from a field cot that they rigged up. It's been getting worse and worse ever since the crash. Marius, it's just been getting worse and worse. Those things, the automata, they're not just wandering, they're picking up tools and using them. They're going and they're talking to each other.
Heaven forbid.
So, who has the highest knowledge in the group?
0.
0.
I think we all.
I think we all have 0.
Is that 0? It's
We
just-
did this
Zero,
last
yeah,
time.
no.
Yeah, okay, it's just not a very studious group. That's fine.
You know what? We have other
Well, you're the one who
gifts.
told me that 0 is like.
No, 0 is
Not
fine.
nothing.
However,
No, zero is
Just
just
not known
average.
for it.
Yeah.
We're just
I
not
would say that
knowledgeable.
pre-reckoning your knowledge probably would have been your high score, because remember your psyche got peeled open, got blasted
I
open.
hate it when that happens. Man.
So let's see. It'll amuse me if the ribbit makes this roll. So Finny, why don't you go ahead and make a knowledge roll?
Amuse the
chosen.
angel.
Entertain me. I see at least
I
one
have
there.
23 with fear.
23. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
So
Are you not horror-tained?
you have a rush. You hear Finny cry out as you have this rush of memories that are quite potent, quite powerful. And you remember the clanks, and you remember them screaming. And you don't know why or what. And it was one that looked like this one, although it was smaller, but it had the same bronze skin to it. And it was in this village, Audrey. And you just have, with a 23, with a flippin' 23, you see 2 males, Qatari and an elf. And you never knew their names, but you knew their position, and they were some of the higher ups in the town. And you see they have a bunch of men, also dwarves, holding down several of these clanks, and they're melting them with different magical instruments.
Melting.
Melting them, like melting their arms off, melting parts of their feet off.
Brutal.
And you look up, and you, in your mind, you can see in that memory, like you can see where the Clover Tavern is rising over the skyline. So you look over and you kind of know where that happened to. Take a stress as this badness happens.
Badness stress.
We settled on blue for stress. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a sad stress.
Oh no, hun, you don't have to write it down. It's just chips, and then maybe we write it down at the end or something.
And he was just being a little dramatic.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what do you do when your little green friend cries out?
Do I hear it? Are we
yeah.
close enough that I...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll head that direction. I'm not particularly. I mean, I'm kind of looked at suspiciously anyway. So.
Yeah. When he calls out, the wounded, traumatized elves clutch their napped, their stone napped knives and their spears and their clubs, because all of their sophisticated magical weaponry is all useless now. It's all a bunch of lumps of brittle wand.
Are you two moving towards the automaton?
Yep.
I'm moving along.
I'm not really feeling all that comfortable standing here being stared at anyway. So it gives me something
you'll
to do.
You'll notice me positioning myself between you and anybody who starts pulling out a weapon.
You're staying with Minora for the nonce, okay?
I'm looking over, but I'm not running over yet since I see the other two are...
Do we
near
see
him.
Finny act? Like, does Finny grab his head or anything?
What does Finny do? I mean, you can try to play it off as just a quick or you can kind of however you want to roll with that.
Finny doesn't expect this reaction to happen, to come back.
No, that was very strong.
Yeah. Finny's afraid of this happening to any of them. And their mission and what they need to achieve is bigger than that. So Finny, hearing the screaming and screaming, screams, "Go! Go! Go!" As if to run away
Okay.
from me.
Okay, that might actually make me move even faster, honestly.
All right. So yeah, you run.
Yeah.
I mean, Finny was not that far from you, so you're
Like,
there.
go. Like, it will happen to you. Go!
There's a wide-eyed, wild-looking human child who's watching this, who is fairly vibrating with energy, and their eyes are just like saucers right now, watching all of this. They had crept out of the Clover Tavern, and so they're watching from a distance. A couple people at Finny shout. A couple heads from the tavern kind of wearily look down, but you all realize that these people are so exhausted. I mean, you know this from Haven. They're so exhausted, and so burdened by their own issues that even a scream like that in the middle of town doesn't get too much attention. Okay, you get there.
I get to
Finny.
out of Finny. Are you all right?
I don't know what's happening, and I know what has happened to you. This is the only place that was going to be safe. You guys need to go. Go, 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 go.
I'm gonna go find out whatever scream we heard. Run off that way, I suppose.
Oh no. The scream was only in his
Only
mind.
in his. Okay.
Yeah. So as far as you know, you have no idea
Seth
what's
is
going on.
gonna put a hand on Finny's shoulder and just go.
Do you allow that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes.
The clank starts to approach you when you scream. After you scream, Marius, the thin redheaded guy that just is shocked as this thing brushes right by him.
Okay, I don't pull out an arrow or anything, but I do make sure that my bow is in my hand.
Okay. Is it strong?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, he just came from out from the Sablewoods, I'm sure.
Does her touch affect me in any way?
Do you want it to?
Do you want it to?
Yeah, I'm trying to calm you down.
How much?
You are safe.
All right,
Tell me what is happening.
The clank leans over you, like keeping a distance from you, but leans over you, and it asks, and you don't really know how this unmoving metal visage can communicate so much, but you somehow know that it's puzzled. Is your soul awakening too? Is that what hurts you, little one? What is this rubbish? All right, very well. And the redhead reaches underneath the rack and tries to grab something.
I'm gonna grab her hand and or wrist and just
his.
stop it. His?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab his wrist and just.
Okay. Make a
I
strength.
know I'm interfering with something that's probably not mine, but
No, do it. Make
yeah.
a strength roll.
How do I do that?
2d12 and then
In non-D&D.
On D&D terms, right?
I'm like reaching for the D20. No, that's not right.
Not an athletics check.
whatever your strength score is.
That is going to be a 12 with fear.
Okay.
And I take one of those. And now I'm maxed out.
Oh, with hope, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you?
Essentially, you see a couple more. Essentially, when that happens, you see a couple more elven heads pop up, glower. A couple people start struggling off of their cots, and the mood gets darker. However, as the guy reaches in, you just manage to you don't get a good grab on his wrist, but you kind of wind up in this weird moment of like grabbing each other's hands, and he kind of
Awkward hand holding.
yeah, and he kind of shoves it away, and once the clank is aware, it wheels, so it's still facing. It's kind of like can see Finny, can see you, can see Marius now.
Excuse me a moment. Once I see that there's like physical exchange happening, I'm walking.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to actually get. Vinny seems very upset for whatever reason that the clank is here. So I actually, if Vinny will allow me, I will
Different world.
kind of move you back a bit to give you some pause and get between the two of them.
Between the clank and Finny. Okay. All right.
Because I don't know that he's necessarily hostile, but whatever's going on, it's freaking him out. So
If I disturb your soul, I will leave. And it takes a few steps back.
a little confused, but it seems as though he's bothered. Yes.
What is your designation?
My what?
Your designation.
I mean, the player knows he needs
Sure.
his name, but you can call me Varian.
Varian. Many of my
I'm gonna
foundry mates
glance quickly over at what's going on over there.
were also screaming. Okay. We're also he doesn't want to look to push it. He's just he glowers at you. About half a dozen wounded elves get up off of their cots.
And I'm not holding him very tightly, just enough to stop him, so I'm not trying to hurt him. And I'll just say, just one moment.
I don't know who you are, but that's my property, all right? And that cost
If it's
me...
asking if it has a soul, it is not property.
Is everything okay over here? What's happened? Finny, are you okay?
I said go. I don't want this happening.
What happened to him?
Don't know. This thing came over and
This ribbit just started screaming, and then my automaton is I told you Maria's the same elven woman from before. It started. You just haven't been paying attention. They've been acting weirder and weirder as the days and weeks have gone by.
Started that day, didn't it?
Yes, the day that we fell out of the sky, the day that magic died. And is Finny still screaming?
Being asked, do you have a soul? Like to Finny? Like Finny's still feeling things being stripped away. Like what Finny had left. Like it's being sucked out of Finny. So Finny said go to save you guys. He doesn't want this to happen to
I
you.
don't know that, though. So is
Well, Finny couldn't answer because Finny's still just hearing screaming and doesn't know how
Okay,
to answer.
so-
And this has never happened to Finny before.
So outwardly, okay.
I'll let this automaton finish its sentence, but I'm probably going to try to leave with Vinny if he'll let me.
Okay. It stops abruptly. And it turns and starts walking away.
Vinny, come with me, please. Come on. Put his paw out.
All right.
It's all right. We won't let anything happen to you.
Did someone hurt you?
I don't know.
Did Minara follow me over?
She takes a couple steps, but she's keeping a fair distance from screaming ribbits.
Why don't we go find some accommodations this evening? You and I.
All right.
We'll meet you back out here if you don't finish first.
And you're headed to the tavern?
Tavern.
Okay. I'll meet you there soon.
Let's go, Finny.
All right.
Who's Finny? Like you.
Come with me. Let's go find something to drink. Something that make you feel a little better.
I'd like that.
You are suddenly really thirsty.
Really thirsty.
All right.
I think there's a tavern over there.
I'll track my way to a
Okay.
inn or a tavern or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's right there. It'd be hard to miss it. Zeph, are you going with them, or are you staying with Marlo?
I'm probably going with them because I think Marlo will be fine.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep with y'all for a second.
But I'll probably ask, are you all right if I go with them?
Yes, it seems more likely that
You might be able to make more headway without us.
forgive them. It's an older way of thinking.
I know. I'll go with you.
Right. So you get into the tavern. I know I'm going to go ahead and read this again. So in better days, the Clover Tavern is a sight to behold, with 6 curving stories climbing the trunk of an ancient tree. This is the heart of the community, always crowded with music and good-natured conversation. Spoiler alert, not so much right
Yeah.
Less good-natured.
now.
Less so now.
Sad-natured conversation.
Newcomers to the bar must take off their shoes and hang them over a line that stretches across the bar's ground floor.
Easier for me.
Yep.
Inevitably, by the time visitors leave, their shoes will be shined and filled with small trinkets. Remember, there's an abundance of good faith here and hospitality. So instead of that line holding shoes, you now see small clothes and bandages and splint wrappings.
Don't want to get those confused.
No.
True. Touche.
So you walk in, and I'm going to say that it's not just curving stories around the tree. Some of the species would have wanted to have carefully carved or shaped wood in the tree as well. Okay, you go in.
Can I back up for 2 seconds?
Sure.
The guy whose wrist I grabbed.
Yeah.
As we were heading away, I would have turned to him and
He's looking at you like you have a
yeah, I
second
want to
hand.
kind of repair whatever I did with him, because we're gonna be here at least one night. Not trying to start anything. Apologies, sir. I was unaware of the situation. All I saw was something approaching my friend and possibly, almost in some ways, asking for help. I didn't know what you were reaching for.
Make a presence roll.
I'm gonna spend hope point
There you go.
and use my affable.
Oh, okay.
Affable.
Affable. That's what I'm
nice.
talking about.
That
What is a what?
absolutely
Wait, is that a thingy?
It is a thing. It's one of my
It's one of your-
experience.
that absolutely counts here.
Awesome. Oh, mine are like sentences.
So that is going to be I'm using presence.
Yes.
Oh yay, that's a -1. That's great. So that is 16.
16. Okay.
With hope.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna do negative math and then add.
So you get that hope right back then.
Hey, I like that. Do you back
You're gonna be like a hope machine.
I'm supposed to get it from you.
Whenever you level, you should look at stuff that uses hope, because I have a feeling you're gonna have
Right.
have a lot of it.
Follow
Okay.
the Brave is very helpful.
He takes a moment, and he says, "You know what? I think it's these last couple weeks have been extraordinary.
Agreed.
Here, let me go buy you. No, you buy me a drink." And he smiles.
That's quite fair.
Marius, what are you? It'll be fine, Celinda. It'll be fine. I'm not gonna get jumped in a tavern here. And he says this isn't Black Sand Port or something crazy like that. So
And in truth, we're not here to cause harm or trouble.
no, so he's walking in with you. Says the automata, I guess the clanks. She's right. Celinda's right. They're wandering. They're flopping down on the ground sometimes. Some of them, they started. He leans in. He says, "I heard one of them refer to another one as she. I don't know what to make of it."
Our world is changing in many different ways. Perhaps this is one of them.
I mean, I was an Arcanist, for God's sake. I built these things. I know them in and out. They can't do this. They don't have sentience.
And magic can't suddenly stop.
Touché.
Waves of people can't suddenly go mad. And hair suddenly turn white.
All right.
A lot of impossibilities have been happening.
So, what's the name of this irritatingly effective debater here that I'm with?
I saw your eyes roll. You were like,
You
call me
are
Zeph.
affable.
Zeph. You always this affable, Zeph?
No.
I love the fact that you're a fighter with affable. That's great.
I know.
Can't we talk this out? I guess we can.
Okay.
you know what? We should.
I like you. I don't know why.
So,
you, but no.
Varian and Finney, you get in where there's, of course, there should be conversation. This would be a huge social hub. Obviously, this would be the social hub. There's just a pall over the whole thing. People have pushed tables together and tried to put moss on top of them and leaves and turn them into like family beds. And then you see sometimes pets or sometimes smaller children have crawled under the tables for comfort or protection. The barkeep is really working overtime. Looks like an older woman with a thick beard carrying a barrel of ale. Looks like a dwarf, and right now. She'd be carrying more than ale. She'd be carrying roots and berries and eggs and hoarded and harvested meats that had been smoked from moons prior. And it looks like they're in the process of, right now, she's speaking with several other dwarves, and they're trying to figure out logistics. And you hear talk of, how many more days do we have? And, well, we're going to have to start organizing hunting parties pretty soon, I think. And like that. So
Okay.
you walk in pretty much unnoticed.
Wow. So, okay. I'll approach our barkeep.
All right. She looks up. You see bags under her dark eyes.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
Well, I thought maybe we can... If you had... What would you like, Finny?
You one of Patrocles's men?
No.
Oh.
We actually just arrived from... Well, we just came into town.
Oh, sorry. I'm stupid with exhaustion. Right. Lausa Stallwind. So I'm the owner and operator of the Clover Tavern here. So you arrived from Haven?
Yes.
Really? And
Yes.
a couple of the other dwarves, look over. There's a small buzz of the people who are listening. This ribbit too? Okay.
They're looking at me or you.
Do you have anything that would be somewhat refreshing? Or...
I'm the one with the beard, honey. And she strokes her luscious locks.
Can't grow that.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out for you.
Boy.
You're welcome to try, but it'll be kind of interesting.
I'm thirsty, aren't I?
Well, you came to the right place, love. Here, you see that cask over there? Just be mindful when you pull the cork out, but go get you some water over there. It's clean.
Oh my god, Dave.
You do that.
You always like that?
No.
Didn't
Something happened outside.
Like 3 weeks ago outside, or
Just a couple of flickers ago.
oh,
Nothing to be concerned about, I think.
right.
But it does seem as though... Did I hear you're looking for people?
Yeah, you heard right. Guess those ears must be good for something, huh? A larger, older dwarf who narrows his eyes back at you, and then ticks his head in invitation.
Okay, I'll walk over.
Okay. And right, and you are
Varian. Soto.
Lawrence Stallwind. So that's my that lovely beard over there is my wife. And you, did I hear you right? You said you're from Haven?
Yes. We got here this evening.
Okay. So it can be done.
And I'll come up next about that time next to him at the bar, and
Marius is close by you, not right on top of you, but close by you, and he's talking to a few people in here as well.
supposed to buy him a drink. So
I'll just glance back at where Finny is when she first
Okay.
comes up, and then come back to the conversation.
You see Finny, usually pretty adept physically,
Well, has a habit of disappearing too.
fumbling. That's true. Fumbling, fumbling with the cork, and although you do manage to, have to roll for it, but it takes you longer than it should. You do manage to get some fresh water though, and you guzzle it down. So he says, Okay. How hard was it? How dangerous?
Not insurmountable, but, well,
Not insurmountable for you or not insurmountable for us? He points to the children and the battered people in here.
if you have someone that can track, it's better.
When is that not true, Varian?
The path is starting to be overgrown. The way is muddled in some ways. But
checks.
obviously it's possible.
All right. You offering to be part of the hunting party, or you have something else in mind?
Well, we originally came to see what the status was of this town, and obviously to make some contacts and
Damn fine. You damn glad you did.
bring people back to Haven if need be.
Lord Theodulf still in charge over there? Still got his brain?
That's
That's the blinded lord. Yeah, Theodulf the Fair.
his brain, yes.
But
Nobody or no one has been untouched by all of this. But yes, he is still in charge.
does he still? He was one of the 9 who made the pearls of the elf civilization. Does he? He was nearly as. Some people say he was nearly as strong as her wisdom. Does he have his gifts? He was felled too. Holy shit.
Not entirely.
As his mind
Okay.
to be
I mean, fair point.
Lost his eyes and his gift.
Eyes too. So he can't even travel.
No.
And that's why you're here. Got it. Okay.
who are you looking for? You hunting party of some sort?
The food.
Oh, for food.
Yeah, we can't.
Stores are running low, aren't they?
We can't go out into the fields anymore. We're getting attacked. We have frickin'
Forest has changed as well.
Yeah, you think? These things are rising up. These I almost want to call them zombies, but they're not. It's like you get too far out from the town and you can just feel the air change. Sometimes you can smell, it's like a bog springs up out of nowhere, but there ain't anything like that here, you know? And then these things, some people have been mauled out there in the last couple of weeks. The farmers, they chase us out of there. We're going to have to fight them. And sometimes, some people say in the dead of night, even worse. Wraiths and some sort of stalkers. It's bad. We're not weak people. We know how to survive, but this is... it's a lot. Sorry, Lawrence Stallwind, you are...
Safina Reed.
Reed?
Aye.
No shit. Huh. All right. Thought I recognized that chin. Garrick's still kicking around in Haven, then.
He is, at least for the moment. Might be heading back to our home, but for now, he'll be staying in Haven for a little while.
Why didn't he come out here?
Because I did.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I guess now that the women folk are just as damn strong as the men, makes perfect sense. Giants are a damn sight weaker too. We had a few of those here as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're still like, on the stout side, but it's kind of weird to be beating them in arm wrestling competitions now.
Tell that to Ribbit.
Right, lad. Okay.
So,
I think we can fit you
How
in.
much water have you had?
He's not much. He's not very big, that one. I think we have some space on the second floor. All right. If you want to hunker down, for the evening.
we will definitely need a place to sleep, but we're also here to help if we can.
There is no shortage of need,
I'm sure.
and it looks like you still have your wits about you, and
So-
maybe even some of your gifts.
Perhaps I can help with the food.
Patroclus' men didn't get hit as hard. None of them went insane, and they were already vicious bastards. Most of them still have their gifts intact.
I have a request to make contact with a woman in this town. And I don't have my notes, so I don't remember the name, but it was the one that gave me the pendant.
Yeah. That family, and I do have noted down that you were looking for the mother.
Mother with a brooch.
Yeah, for them. Yeah. I actually don't think we came up with the name, but okay. He spreads the word. He doesn't immediately know that person, but he spreads the word, and somebody's going to know who she is now. Because basically, if y'all haven't intuited it already, just without really consulting with each other, everyone has crammed around the central safety. All right.
What do you do for payment these days? Still coin or?
You can't eat coin, and it doesn't keep you warm at night. So keep your coin. Just bring in more than you take if you're strong. What do your people always say? You eat what you kill. Well, we could stand a little bit more.
Probably going out at night would be foolish, but first thing in light.
Yeah, first light. I wouldn't recommend going out. Not even for you. Not until you know the lay of the land. I don't know. Maybe you can figure some way to fight these bastards that we haven't yet.
Has the town itself been attacked at night?
Not yet. We're waiting for it. I don't know. So, any other time I would have said go to the Whitefire Arcanist. She's very powerful and, more importantly, very wise. She lives just outside of the town, northeast. I can take you there at dawn if you want. But
That is one of the other people that we came here to see.
Indeed.
it's just everything's gone dark. Normally you could see her place at night, lit up like a soft beacon. And I'm sad to say it's been such a rush, I haven't even gone out to check on her. Not that, anyway.
When was the last time you saw her or saw the light?
Actually, up until last night, before this thing happened. But last night it lit up again.
This thing? You mean...
What thing?
I guess some people are calling it the Reckoning, huh?
I see. So it was not affected by
Not something last night.
the event, but something caused it to go out until
Last night.
last night.
And now we could see it again.
Mm.
Okay,
So-
I found this on the web.
Oh, that was fun.
No, Siri, you're not allowed to play.
Hey, it's
Okay,
one,
Alexa can't play with us.
it's one of the stalkers. Manara says, not too long ago, I think I would have taken your associates to task, but strange outbursts and screaming and nightmares and voices in your head, they're all too common now.
That is sadly quite true.
How can I... Oh, Adrian? And you see a slight figure coming, about average size for an elven male, average height for an elven male, kind of dragging himself toward where you're out. He's headed back in from northeast of town, weary. Pretty, by Ice's End standards, pretty unremarkable clothing. By Haven standards, it would have been ostentatious, like gold thread and really fine weave. Ave Manara, and you have another person with you. And his face is dirty. You can see tears have cut through little rivulets of cleanliness through the dirt.
Ave, I am Marlowe.
Well met, Marlowe. Adrian, historian, late of Ice's End, although I don't know if I'll ever see that again.
Myself and a few comrades have recently arrived from Haven.
Your hair. You have a little color in your hair.
I do. I retain some abilities.
You're part of the rekindling she spoke of.
I have not heard it called that.
It wasn't the Arcanist. And he starts to faint.
I jump to catch him.
Okay, you and Minara both rocking your -1 strengths.
With our powers combined.
Yeah, with your fortunately he's not that big, and he looks. I mean, it's now well into dusk, but he looks pale. Been working, trying to understand before she died. How could it be 40 millennia of life reduced to 5 lines of bad poetry? He's hot. He feels hot to the touch.
If I have a flask on me or anything, I'll try to give him some
Okay,
water.
he kind of takes that and drinks it a little bit awkwardly, wipes some sweat off of his pallid brow.
Adrian, who has died?
The Arcanist. I buried her just now. She told me to come at dusk, that I would see the first component of the rekindling. Her sight was still intact, even though whatever had allowed her she was as old as her wisdom, you know. That's absolute rubbish. I wish you would quit spreading that sort of insipid gossip, Adrian. It's not gossip. She was there. If anything, she may even have been older. She knew. She's met these gods. She knew the god of knowledge when he was a man. Javid. There's so much. I'm trying to hold it. She gave it to me. She said it was a very old power coming back into the world. That hermetic will working, that sort of magic, our magic was gone. But that something new and primal and irresistible was battering at the edges of creation, and it would not be denied. That it had always been there and it would always be. I can feel. I never had the gift before, but I think if you'll help me, I think maybe I can. What should I try first? What are you saying? You're babbling. No, it's just that my words aren't precise enough. It's true, though. Damn it, Minara, it's true.
It's true, though.
I wish, as you echo that on the tavern, I wish a sending stone. Is that what we try first? What do you mean to repair? Something? No, one of the runes of recall. He looks at you. What do we try? She told me where. She drew me a map. The last of her strength. I know where to go. I know where to restart the spark.
We must go. Yes, I am actually carrying with me a sending stone.
Providence. Whatever that is now. Great Mother. Javid. Steward of knowledge. I don't know. That pallid creature that follows me, that invited me to a sweet surcease, to death. I've seen death. What was your name again?
Marlowe, friend.
I've seen death. They're beautiful. I almost just went with them. It's not time, though. Will you help me?
Of course.
And he, in an almost childlike way, tries to put his head like against your stomach and curl around you.
I let him. Yeah.
He's just instantly asleep. All right. We could end it there, but I just want to go for know where everybody's staying. So I'll freeze there with you, and you probably stay with the camp and try to get him.
Vinny,
Finney's a bit out of sorts over here.
Finny stumbles back over from the
drunk in
watering container, and
High on life.
goes over to Varian and says, "Do you think they bought it? You take the second floor. I'll take the 6th."
What was it that you have in mind?
You said we get accommodations on the second floor.
Yes.
Climb up to the 6th. I don't trust what they're talking about.
You know how to get to the roof.
Of course I do.
Well, we'll let you know where we're staying.
No, I'll see.
Second floor. That's what we're
6th.
being told. Very well.
I'll be on the 6th.
I suppose we should find Marlowe.
I'll go look for him.
Marius, you hear he has a coughing fit, and then as it went down the wrong tube, you want me to come with you?
Why don't you stay here and have another drink, friend?
Won't turn that one either. Won't turn that down either.
So she'll ask for another one for him,
Okay.
and then head out to go find Marlowe.
Thistle folk relieved you of half of your coin, but you still have enough.
Apparently, they're not taking coin.
His wife, for the booze, still is. Let's not get confused.
It's all right.
I'm just snagging with my tongue.
Okay, you can go ahead and take the stress back as you get a chance to relax up there. Okay, so when we pick back up, we have y'all on the second floor. We have a Finny, and Finny gets a little visit from a friend. From a friend, as Finnies do.
A little bummed about our contact.
Finny is one and only. Thank you
Underground
very
now.
much.
Unfortunate.
That's
That's pretty unfortunate.
grim.
That is not great. That's not great for us.
Finny, mark for yourself, love. I'm going to give you advantage on the next deception-ish roll that you need to make in Hush. As everyone now thinks that you're just insane.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
So, right, Finny's friend, and I'm going to note that for myself too, so I don't forget it. Do you, and then last question, do you stay with the Elven encampment that night? Or do you get
They
Adrian
both
settled?
just said they're coming to get me, so
okay.
I'll probably make sure Adrian is settled and resting, and then go back with them.
Okay. He starts.
Or at least I'm coming to check on you,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
He starts not quite ranting, but talking vigorously in his sleep and shifting around, almost like his brain is trying to settle just all of this facts and figures and knowledge crammed into it right now.
Yeah. I would task Minara too with staying with him and, keeping track of everything he says, even if it sounds like gibberish to her.
And I'm gonna watch and make sure that Arcanus
much
just
it is.
died and he didn't kill her.
Okay.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet,
And-
but I'm gonna watch and make sure.
And at some point, H4A7 wanders into the tavern. And that's where we'll pick it up. Wanders into tavern.
What was the designation again?
H4A7.
Okay.
And H4A7 has two friends.
So some weird part of my brain. Went
This is
H1N1.
is that a clank or
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah, that was the
right?
same
Wow, the
clank.
flea
That
walked into the
that was
bar.
the clank with the
is clank with a C or K?
C. So
Yeah.
it wanders in with two other clanks.
Interesting.
With two locals, and I'm going to say with that 23 Finny that you do recognize them. You do recognize those clanks.
Now that you know that I'm
Yeah.
sane.
We're exactly. We're a witness to the emergence of sentience,
Yes.
sentient beings.
As if we didn't have
Hey,
enough issues.
You know, why not?
Why not?
I am going to say, I think that y'all identified that so quickly and so well. Like, I mean, Melissa, you especially just instantly knew what was going on over there with very little context clues. So why don't all of, I don't know if this is the thing in Daggerheart, but it's going to be for this session. Everyone go ahead and take a hope.
Cool.
Are you already maxed? You're already maxed out. I'm sorry, baby.
Melissa, you did great.
So the person who did
Oh my god, I literally thought you were gonna say like take one of her hopes. I was like, no, she earned this.
No, basically she just generated and when your group is dealing with this clank situation, you have a certain level of clarity. You know what? Then in resolving the clank situation, go ahead and give yourself advantage. Write down advantage on a roll of your choice.
So is that what that same is for me? Like advantage for next week? Or you said you haven't decided what you want me to do?
No. For yours, it's going to be something
you throw at me.
No, some kind of deception is what I said.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Yours, Melissa, yours is going to be pretty broad. I mean, pretty broad too, because it's going to be anything to do with the clanks and resolving that situation. Because there is some disruption. There is some societal.
I'll probably keep it
political
within
disruption.
that whole thing.
And-
This is gonna be fun. I'm excited.
and economic disruption when your labor force it becomes sentient. When your washers and dryers rebel.
Fair wage, fair.
All right. And Justin, I hope you were picking up what I was laying down with Patrocles, because that's the other Qatari in the already vicious enough is the description.
Well, I know how he dies in the Iliad, but that's different.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a similar death here. We'll see. All right, faraway friends. Thank you for joining us on this one. It's Daggerheart's always an interesting thing where a single roll can change the narrative, and that's okay. I'm still having fun with this, and I hope you are too, or at least being mildly entertained at the shenanigans. So we will continue to plug on over here, and as you go about your journey in life, stay safe and stay curious. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Bye, everybody.
Yay!